What's up, Bars Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Dropping Bars. And today I have a gentleman with me that I've known for a very long time. As a matter of fact, our relationship began as a teacher-student relationship. I have Mr. Jervis Dabreo with me, my former IT teacher at SAS, the St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School. Shout out to SAS, and I know you're gonna give it to them in Intercall this year. But nevertheless, we're not here to talk about that. Mr. Dabreo, welcome to Dropping Bars.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much, and I am really happy we can be here and have this happen. It's been a while. It definitely has. I think when we first met, there were not as many gray hairs on the on the
I
face,
know.
but
Uh,
it really wasn't that long ago. And I have to say, for the record, you are a good student. So for
oh,
those of
good.
you out there, who watch dropping bars, he was a good student.
All right, great. Thanks for saying that. Well, you know what? I
Yeah,
got
man.
I got IT for CXC, so hey,
Yeah, well,
that
well,
definitely means that you were a great teacher too.
nah, I'm not going to take credit for a lot of what happened to a lot of my students over the years. I think a lot of students were driven, and
Mm,
it was really just about guiding them. And, your group was one of those groups that made teaching easy.
oh,
I
nice.
think teachers now are having a different experience.
Man, yeah, I'm hearing of some of those experiences, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy.
different
So,
time.
Mr. Dabreo, you're no longer teaching at SAS, which is where we met. You're in a different capacity now. So why don't you tell the Bars Nation? Tell us. Who is Jervis Dabreo, and what do you do at the moment?
Yeah, well, I like that question. It's one that gets answered based on who asked it. If we're talking sports, Jervis Dabreo is a very, 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 very competitive person. People who know me, they know I do not play for fun. I play to win, and I have fun while I'm winning. So that is me. In my professional setting, I am a teacher, so though not active in the classroom, you can't change that. I think
Right.
at my very core, I am a teacher. So I'm no longer active in the classroom. I was with the Ministry of Education for a little while. Now I'm with the Ministry of ICT, part of this unit that was created early last year, the cybersecurity incident response team. So now I basically get to do a little of what I love on multiple fronts. I still get to teach. I still get to help people. I'm still working in IT, and I get to talk to a lot of people.
So you just mentioned that you're part of the team. In short, it's CISR, the cybersecurity
Yeah,
incident
yeah, yeah.
response team. So what do you do at CISR?
Well, there are several things that we're tasked with. One, I mean, and one of our main function when the whole idea came up was raising public awareness. So getting our people to a point where they are able to recognize threats. They're able to know, see, hey, this is what is happening. This is what I should do. To sort of get them to a place where they are more responsible netizens, whether it is the young ones. So we are tasked with talking to the little ones all the way up to college, the parents, the community groups, the churches, just to get them to a place where we're a bit more aware of what is happening and how to manage ourselves in the virtual digital space. But we also do assessment. So something comes in, you're not sure about it, whether it's a link, a message, you send it to us. And as we say, we're the people who click, so you do not have to click. We'll take the hit, so you do not have to take the hit. We'll interact with the scammers to ensure that we understand exactly what is happening, so you do not have to do that. And of course, we let you know what's up. It's a free service because it is, within the government. That's what we were set up for. So yeah, that's basically what we've been doing. We're not law enforcement. We work
Mhm.
along with law enforcement uh, because certain things may happen and they are not necessarily criminal. All
Right.
right. So you have an incident that needs some checking, some looking into, but it's not criminal. So why bog down law enforcement with that? We take care of that. And if there is anything there that needs to be forwarded to the FIU or to the cyber forensic unit in the RGPF to CID, then we advise and we do accordingly. So that's what's happening. And I'm having fun with it because I don't work 8 to 4.
Right.
All right, I'm always on the clock. I don't need to sit in the office. I could do this while I'm sitting on the toilet. It's the best of both worlds, man. You get to
Right.
do what you love and you have fun with it while helping people.
Right. So pretty much you're tasked with protecting, helping
Yeah,
us protect ourselves online. Now,
yeah, yeah.
do people or are people currently taking advantage of the services that you guys are offering? Or
Yes,
do you
they
see like
are.
a slow uptick in people really recognizing the need for protecting themselves online?
Well, they are reaching out. I'll tell you, there are some days when we are up to, or as we normally say, up to we teeth. You understand? We teeth hole, as we say
Right.
in the local parlance, in terms of people sending things, wanting it checked out. Some things are time sensitive, so you have to jump on it and give a response quickly. We've helped quite a few people to not send money to malicious actors out there, but I
Mhm.
still feel as though we're not where we should be. There are many who are not aware of us, may not even have heard of us. Now, I'm not sure how that is happening. 110,000 people,
Right.
we've been all over the news. We're all over social media as well. But there are some people who have not heard of us, so people are still falling victims. People are still not, as protected as we'd want them to be. But we're working to fix that.
Right. What are some of the biggest, I would say, scams that you see people fall for, especially in the local context like Grenada or the Caribbean? What are some of the most common scams you see people falling for?
Yeah, well, let me say this, because I don't want people thinking that falling for a scam has anything to do with your level of intelligence or anything like that. I mean, think about it.
I was scammed.
You get
Listen, I
you
was scammed. Okay.
right, and
So
I got scammed back in 2013, and I did not realize what hit me until 2022. So it took me all these years to really understand what happened. I just thought it was about of bad luck. And not
mhm.
not just that. I mean, we get scammed to a certain extent when we walk into the supermarket with our children all the time. Why are the candies right next to the cashier's
Exact.
area? That pressure that is exerted on us
Yes.
because
Yes.
they want.
Yes.
Come on, man. Really? Couldn't that be
They,
somewhere in the
they
back?
call they call
Uh,
that impulse. They call that impulse buying, impulse purchases. They put it there so it's like
yeah.
direct on impulse.
So I want to get that out of the way. And now that it's out of the way, what we're seeing is, especially coming out of the pandemic, people wanting a little bit more resources, financial stability, and so forth. So a lot of investment scams have been coming our
Mm.
way. You could put in a thousand US and you get 20, 30,000 US in a matter of days. So some of the crypto currency investment scams, we've been seeing some of that. Prepayment scams, we've been seeing some of that. There is also this sort of phenomena happening locally where everybody wants to bring in their own vehicle, and
Mm.
people are sending money to these entities that they don't exist. They're not legal entities, and not receiving goods and so outside of these get rich quick schemes, investment scams, we have phishing. All right, phishing scams.
Mm.
We're seeing a lot of that. People clicking links, falling victims, having compromised computers, accounts, that sort of thing, losing access to some of their accounts as well. And then, I mean, of course, late last year into this year, sextortion. I mean, we still have instances of that, people being blackmailed because of their sexual behavior,
Mm.
whether they consented at the time or didn't. But that is another issue that we're seeing. Outside of these, I think we still need to work on responsible behavior, cyberbullying. irresponsible commenting, and so we're seeing that as well. I think that is basically what's happening. We're not there as far as ransomware attacks and all these things.
Okay.
Not as yet.
Okay, and I know there is something that I know that you warn people against all the time, which has to do with a lot with like social engineering. And I know that I started taking your advice on that too, which is where we post a lot of like intimate details about our lives. So our kids' birthdays, our own birthdays. We post, a lot of this seemingly innocent details about us, that our anniversaries and
Yep.
so, and people can use those things to guess like passwords and different things.
Yep.
And I know that you want, so for example, like me, I used to post a lot of like, but like my anniversary, my kids' birthdays, or whatever, and I've started like shying away from that, especially after seeing how those social engineering scams work. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I don't think that people really understand that when we post a lot of this information about us there online, we are making it very easy for the scammers to I guess do whatever it is that they need to do, because we essentially handing them our data on a
Yep.
platter. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Well, last year, 2022, my birthday came and it went. I think I got happy birthday from maybe two or three persons. I don't think anybody posted, happy birthday online. And I have to say, I am more socially visible now than I was
Mm,
3, 4 years ago. And it did not happen. And I remember one of my close friends saying, Dabreo, you have a lot of people who listen to you, but they don't really care. They didn't even say happy birthday. And my response was, many of them do not know that my birthday came and went. My anniversary and so forth, they may pick it up based on little hints that are dropped, but generally no. Um, I went to a session. I had a session yesterday with some high school students, and I was introduced, and the information that was used to introduce me was incorrect. And I'm like, well, good. There you have it. Allow me to introduce myself. And that again is not just talking the talk, but walking the talk, ensuring that you do not leave too much information out there. Social engineering is the hacking of the human being. All right. And in order for somebody to do that, they have to have an appreciation for who you are. So if I know you have a child that is sick because you've been posting about that, I can reach out to you along sympathy lines, empathy lines, and shoot you some stuff and have you, build up some trust, some confidence in me. And then you share things. You give me insight into your world that you really should not.
right.
You clicking on dog pictures tells me that you love dogs. So if I send you an email with some new breakthrough in giving longevity to our dogs, I most likely will get you to click it. And if I send something on fishes, you're not a fish person. Um, that's how social engineering works. It is why people fall for romance scams. Not that they're stupid, but they're looking for love, and that is manipulated, that is exploited because of the information that you put out. So it's not saying that you should not put out stuff, but it's understanding what the risks are. Social engineers, they are the people who would pick up the breadcrumbs that we leave. They
Hmm.
follow us. They look to see what we post, how we react, what content makes us tick or rubs us the wrong way, and then they can use that against us. Uh,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it is a bit scary knowing that these social engineers, they can work along all lines. Let me give you an example, right? Because we as parents, we're social engineers as well.
Right.
So you want your child to do something, whatever it is, some chore. So you give the child three options. One,
Mm.
Jane, you can either sweep your room, you can wash the dishes, or you can mop the veranda. Now, Jane has three options, and Jane figure, oh, she has the power to choose what she wants to do, not realizing any of the options she chooses, you win, because these are things you want her to do anyway. But how did you get
Exactly.
her to pick and be happy about it? Because you gave her this illusion that she was in control. She has the power to pick. She really didn't. Anyhow she went, she lost. That right there is a form
I mean, I'm
of
gonna,
social engineering.
I actually do that because I just give them options that are acceptable to me. And if I'm being honest,
Yeah,
not just with the
yeah,
kids, with
yeah,
just people in general,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But
So that
uh-huh.
is part of the process on the good side of things.
Well, on the good side of things. So I don't know if, as you mentioned that, it reminds me of um, a a show. I wonder if it was on Netflix. It was a guy named Tristan Harris. They produced this show. It was called. I'm trying to remember what the name of the show was. Where they pretty much was breaking down. Oh, it's called The Social Dilemma. Have you did you
Mhm,
watch that?
mhm.
Did you watch that
Yeah,
um
I have taken a look at it.
yeah, so it's called The
Um,
Social Dilemma, and some of the things that they spoke about was a bit extreme. Some people thought they were extreme. I mean, just from my experience as a digital guy, social media guy, I know that some of these things is really how some of the digital platform work. What I want to ask you about has to do with data, and looking at, you see how we have a lot of those apps and little games things that we have like on Facebook, and it might say, oh, click on this and answer some questions to see
mhm.
what kind of Disney
Potato you
princess
are.
you are, or what kind, exactly, or what kind of potato you are, or something like that, right? And then
Yeah.
I've been seeing lately people are clicking on, they're sharing this thing where the thing is telling them, and it's funny because they tell you good things sometimes about you or something that's funny,
Mhm.
and make you want to share it. And when you share it, what you don't realize is that you're sharing it into your newsfeed. Other people are seeing it, and now they want to see.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I wonder what it will say about me. So they're clicking now. So you're pretty much selling your friends to these data miners, right? So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on people who are looking towards these, I suppose, quizzes on like Facebook and so, to tell them, what kind of potato they are or what kind of Disney princess they are.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because for me, I don't ever click on those because I know these are pretty much what they do is collecting data, and the data is
Yeah.
being sold. I mean, look at the Cambridge Analytica scandal that happened.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what are your thoughts on people who are clicking on those quizzes and games?
So let me start by asking this: who are psychics? Who are psychics? The fortune tellers. Who are fortune
Hmm.
tellers? These are people who pick up all these little bits and pieces of you. They read your body language, cues, what have you, and then they spit out some stuff that even when they are wrong, because there are elements in there that fit in with what we want to hear. We say, yeah, they're on point. They're okay, not realizing that our information is actually being used against us, and of course they're
Hmm.
making a buck in the process. A lot of these quiz operate pretty much the same way, only on the back end of it, they are not just about picking something back for you. They're about collecting information that could be used, whether it's for advertising, whether it is to throw different products at you, whether it is just to have a better appreciation for who you are for whatever reason. Because in some cases, I'm not even sure who is behind it. I have been advising people for the last couple of years to leave these things alone. All right, you're never going to be a potato. I don't think it's important what kind of potato you are. This particular celebrity or movie star is not going to be sleeping with you. So what your child is going to look like doesn't make any sense. How many babies you're going to have in
Yes.
2023? I mean, come on. An algorithm is spitting that out. That's not how babies are made. But some of the questions that you're asked to answer, some of these maybe security questions for your online account. Some of them may not necessarily be security questions, but they do give some insight into some private aspect of your life, whether you've lost somebody, you're in mourning,
Hmm.
financially, where you are, education wise, what is happening. And we're seeing scams running across the board. Now, I'm not saying these things are scams, but data mining is the currency of this digital
Exactly.
economy. Data is the currency, and whoever has the data is king. Everybody wants a piece of it, whether it is a meta outside of all these other little bodies that are popping up inside, and we have to do all in our power to safeguard that. Some pieces just leave them alone.
Yeah, data. Someone said data is the new oil,
Yeah, yeah,
and
man, yeah,
I
definitely.
remember a couple years ago while running Facebook ads for a couple clients. Facebook had this service that time. It wasn't Meta as yet; it was still Facebook, and they had a partnership with a third party data company where I could reach out to this data company, and it was a free service Facebook was offering to certain advertisers. And
Okay.
because I was advertising a lot, I got access to the service, and I was able to reach out to this company and tell, like, let's say I speak to Jervis Dabreo and say, hey, I'm looking to target this person who's interested in this and so on and so forth.
Hmm,
Now that
hmm.
company would look into not just Facebook data, but their own data, their own whatever, wherever they get that data from, and they will create an audience for me, and they will
Yeah.
attach that audience directly into my ads manager. And all I had to do was go in, click on it, boom, and run ads. And like it was really good because the targeting was really
Yeah.
on point. Once I gave them the input, what I wanted, they gave me back an audience that was like ripe for the picking. And I ran ads against those audience and had tremendous success until
Yep.
I
Yep.
suppose some people came forward and I was like, nah, Facebook, nah, you want some shit. So they had to like cut that off and kill it, and so
Yeah.
it was no longer a thing. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And another thing, I want to get your thoughts on this one. It's not it's funny, because I remember maybe sometime last year or year before, whatever, we had the 10-year challenge, right? Where people were posting pictures of themselves like 10 years ago to now. So we showed 10 years, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's like another social engineering type of. I'm not doing that. Like, what was it like? Talk to me about the logic behind why people. Well, I don't know what are you. First of all, what are your thoughts on that? And
Right.
yeah, just tell me your
Yeah.
thoughts on that. That's it. I'm not going to ask
Do
anything
you
else.
remember? Do you remember what my picture was when that was posted? I mean, it's
I
still
don't
up on
recall.
Facebook. I I thought about taking it down, but I'm like, nah. I remember when people were doing that, posting pictures of their younger self and so forth. I went on Google, got a couple pictures of sperm heading towards
Oh,
the egg, and I posted that, letting them know, hey, I'm not going back 10 years. I'm going to the very beginning.
the
I'm
beginning.
going to that moment. You understand? Of course, there was nothing there to social engineer. It didn't say how far back, I went, whether I went to 1940, 1960. It did not
Right.
say. But it just showed the ridiculousness, I think, of it and the humor in it. Some of these challenges, based on who is behind it, they do allow us, they push us to reveal information that you really do not want being out there. Now, the thing is, the internet as it was 10 years ago is not what it is now. So
Mm-hmm.
somebody asking you, what is your child's favorite color? Why would I put that out? Is there a pedophile behind that want to now use that against my child? What's up with that? Certain challenges you just have to leave alone. Now
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that the internet is going to be boring, but again, a lot of what is happening, social engineering is at the core of it. And the
Right.
questions may appear innocent, but information is being elicited that you really do not want. For example, you remember I saw you in uh, Bank One yesterday. I'm not sure. You had on a red jersey in Bank One yesterday. And you tell me, well, no, I'm not. I wasn't there. I'm like, yes, I remember. I saw you. You were standing in line in Bank One. And our desire to correct people, you're going to tell me, hey, listen, I wasn't in bank one. I don't do business in bank one. My business is in bank two. I have no reason to be in bank one. Oh, well, thank you. So now
Yes.
I know your business is not in bank one, it's in bank two. Thank you. There you go. Eliciting information. If I came out and asked you, hey, Korean, which bank do you do business with? You'd
You're
be
not
like,
gonna
are you
tell me.
crazy? What's wrong with you? But if I get you to autocorrect me, if I get you to just, want to fix whatever is happening, you give up information you should not. And some of these challenges, that is what is happening.
What you just said is it's so interesting because it's not just online and for like social engineering scams and so people do that. That happens like in negotiation and in
Hmm.
everyday life. I mean, sometimes if I want to like get some kind of information from somebody, sometimes I do the same thing. It's not like I'm trying to scam them, but I know if I go straight up and say, "Hey, what is X?" You're not gonna tell me. But if I say, "Oh, X is Y," you're gonna be like, nope, X is not Y. X is
Nah.
actually Z. You know,
Yeah, that's it.
right?
That's it.
So and
That's
I'm
it.
like,
That's
okay,
it.
cool. And but yeah, it's so it's like it's these things that people it's like they understand human behavior. There's like social
Hmm.
engineering engineers, and so they understand human behavior, and they really use that against us. So I want to ask you something. What are your thoughts on AI? There's a lot of talk about AI right now. I mean, Chat GPT is the big one, but almost all the a lot of AI platforms are being used. There are platforms where you can write a description and the AI spits out a design for you, a graphic for you. Canva actually just launched that service in there. Um, I mean, in Chat GPT, you just
Yep.
enter certain prompts and it
Yep.
spits out like some really great stuff. I mean, I use Chat GPT a lot. As a matter of fact, I use the pro version of Chat GPT right about now because it really helps me with marketing, content creation, um, and but more from an idea standpoint. So for example,
Yeah.
I might enter certain prompts, and it will give me back. Sometimes it gives me back the entire thing, but then I have to go in and really make it my
Makes
own
sense.
thing,
Yeah.
my own style, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on AI and specifically what are your thoughts on Chat GPT?
I am excited and scared in the same sentence. And that's the reality. I passed my staff yesterday, had a conversation, a pretty lengthy conversation with a few teachers there, and said the same thing to them. I am excited for where the technology is, where I think it is going, and what it is going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm not even looking 10 because we're
Mm-hmm.
moving crazy quick right now. But I am also very worried and concerned. And here is why. The Industrial Revolution, it increased productivity, and that was a good time, a good thing. But while productivity was increasing, it also increased engagement with humans. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So you did not see production going up and humans being sidelined. Humans were now being used in a more efficient, effective way. AI is going to, it has already started, it is going to improve productivity and efficiency, but the human engagement is going to decrease.
So let me ask
Anything
you
to
this.
me, any job that you could mathematically dissect, logically dissect, run the risk of being run by AI and automation, and having human beings being on the sideline. I'm a little worried about that. A lot of people are going to make a lot of money running these systems, but a lot of the people who are now the doers
Mm-hmm.
may find themselves out of jobs. So I'm excited, but I'm scared in the same breath, in the same sentence. Now, in terms of Chat GPT, I think we've come a long way from digital assistants, and that
Mm-hmm.
I've used it. And I was saying, just yesterday again, Chat GPT right now should be used for creating the skeleton.
Yes,
So whatever it
I agree.
is, let it create the skeleton for you. And you give that, whatever it is, that piece of writing, that article, you give that life. You give it its soul. All right. So you have to give it your voice because ChatGPT is not able to do that. But as a creative, because not only do I teach IT and work at the CSUT, I am a poet as well. And I am concerned that some people will try to use AI uh, to sort of take the place of the creative process, and want it to churn out whether it's lyrics, music, poetry, art, whatever it is. And I think it's going to be a waste of time when it comes to the soul and the heartbeat of what it
Mm-hmm.
means to create a creative piece, to put something out there, to have the lyrics basically be an embodiment of how you feel, how you felt, the experiences you've had. Uh, Passing that off to the AI, I believe you are going to get some good lyrics. It might make sense, but it is not going to have soul. It's not going to have that emotional depth that you would get because your pain bled on the paper. Your happiness came out
Mm-hmm.
um, between the words that were written and so forth. So I am a little concerned when it comes to that, but as I told him yesterday, I'm not too worried. Um, some people are going to throw things in Chat GPT and have it speak back out bars for them, but I think the real creativity is still going to require the human being expressing his feelings, his emotions, his thoughts on there. That's my take from an IT standpoint and from that of a creative. That's where I stand. I'm excited, but
Mm-hmm.
bro, I
Yeah.
am worried as well.
Yeah, because I'm thinking from a creative standpoint, for example, and I want to go down that road. But before we go there, I want to bring up something, because I know that the AI can only give you based on can give an output based on what you put in.
Yes.
So it means that the person that's entering the prompt into, let's say, ChatGPT, for example, they need to be creative enough to come up with the right prompt to get back. Because if you just enter like general information, it's gonna spit
Hmm.
out just generalized stuff. That's not most likely may not work for you. So at
Yes.
the end of the day, there still needs to be a creative a creative mind
Yes.
to enter the data into chat into like chat GPT in this case. And like you say, because the soul of it, you can't
Yes.
chat GPT cannot give you,
Nope.
like, so it, like you said, you need to use it as a skeleton, as a like
Yes.
ideas, to really generate the
Yes.
ideas, and then you take that whatever ideas that you have, and you go and make that into something. Because if you try to like just just take what the AI sent out,
Yeah.
just like that, without infusing any of your uniqueness into it and your creativity into it, then it run the risk of lacking, like I say, some soul. But I want to go back a little
Yeah.
bit, because one of the things that you mentioned, and um has to do with, let's say, the reduction in, let's say, the human engagement. And quite possibly there are some jobs that are going to be lost as a result of AI. Like, I mean, some people may not need
Yeah.
to
I mean,
need to even hire a copywriter anymore, right? There are some jobs
yeah.
that are going to be lost as a result of AI. However, I am also thinking that it's quite possible that as a result of the AI stepping in, that it may create a new set of jobs that could either make up for those that are being lost. And here's why I'm thinking that. I'm not saying that will happen, but this is my logic, right? Back in the day, I mean, you went back to the Industrial Revolution and so. When people were working on like farm help and so, were working on the
Yeah.
farms, and they were the one tilling the soil and doing everything. And then the tractors were invented, and the tractors came along, and everybody thought, "Oh my God, the tractors are taking away our jobs, and everything is going to go haywire and whatever." But then the tractors came in. The tractors were able to replace some of the manual labor that was being done. But as a result of that, new industries were created, and some of those people were able to find new jobs in some of the new industries that were created, and so I'm thinking in my mind,
Yep.
hopefully that the AI can help create some of these new industries and these new things that could result in, okay, we move away from this set of jobs, but then we create like this new one, so that I guess you can say civilization continues. People, you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's my
I
thinking. That's my thinking, right?
yeah. I like the optimism. Um, but I tend to be an optimist in some cases. In this instance, I'm having a hard time seeing
Mm-hmm.
how automation, when coupled with artificial intelligence, is going to have, these people displaced now, just finding new jobs. New
Yeah,
jobs are going to be created. Data mining and all these things. These are fields that are new fields in AI. Software engineering that is being relooked, restructured
yeah,
right now with what is happening with AI. Even security wise, I believe, because security to a certain extent is logical. Certain things you look for, block, what have you, what have you. I mean, ChatGPT is correcting code right
yeah.
now, and it's not where it is going to be yet. Now, mind
I
you,
know.
we're having this conversation today. This conversation would not make any sense, I think, 2, 3 years from now, if all that. Because the AI
Exactly.
and these things would be so advanced that it's like, yeah, those guys said that, but they were not looking that far ahead.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think, when it comes to careers for young children, and teachers and parents guiding them, you have to factor in what is most likely going to happen because of automation and AI. So it's not just automation. We've had that for a long time.
for a long
But
time. Yeah,
when you put artificial intelligence in there, a lot of the repetitive jobs and so, where you can mathematically dissect it, where one thing is dependent on another thing, and so forth, many of these things are going to go away. You look at payroll systems, accounting departments. And so, a lot of the software is now doing a lot of the work that people had to do before. When you put AI in there, you may just need 1 or 2 persons to ensure that the system is up and running. But that whole department is now, it's no longer 30, 40, 50 persons. Maybe you just have two or three. Where are all these people? Are they still in accounting? Maybe in a firm that is not using automation and AI.
yeah.
But we have some
No,
tough times ahead, I believe.
no. I agree
Based
with
on
you
what
on
I know.
that. I agree with you on that because I right now in the supermarkets here in Toronto, when I go to the supermarket, it's literally like before, and listen, this is like 2 years ago, right? When I went to the supermarkets, I would go and stand up in the line, and there will be a cashier cashing me out. Now when I go to the supermarket, there's literally only two cashiers
Yeah.
in a huge Walmart. In a huge Walmart, only two cashiers, and then the self checkout area, which was never there before. It came in as a result of COVID. So when COVID hit and people were trying to do the whole touchless and not have the connection, they introduced like
Mhm.
those self checkout stuff. And I kid you not, there's only two cashiers now. Where there
So
used to
where
be
where are
like
all
more
the other
than 10.
catchers?
I maybe they're on the floor. And we talk about a big ass like Walmart Supercenter, like two cashiers, and
Yeah.
then everything else is, and there's just one person in the self checkout area, just ensuring that maybe there might be somebody, an older lady who don't really know how to use it, and that person can go and help them. It works for me. I just go in and I just scan,
Yeah.
get my thing, put my test
But
over the back, and just head out.
yeah, you remember back in the days we spoke about jack of all trades, master of
Master
none.
of none.
And
Yes.
that was a bad statement. If somebody said that, there was nothing really positive about it. Somebody say, "Oh, you're jack of all trades, you're master of none." It suggests that you're not really good at anything. You're good at quite a few things. But I think this is the attitude we need to adopt now as we move forward. You can't just qualify yourself in an area
Hmm.
for a specific thing. You have to look at being versed in multiple areas. So if one area doesn't work out, you can fall back on something else. There is the need now for constant upskilling, retooling of oneself, and just ensuring that at the end of the day, you are able to, capitalize on multiple income streams because of the different abilities, the different skills you have developed along the way. And I think this is what we need the young people to understand. I think even some of us older ones, we have to appreciate that as well, because in the next couple of years, I think life is going to be very different from what it is
Yeah.
right now with how this thing is moving.
As a matter of fact, I think I'm not sure if it was Bill Gates or, but there's an article online that I read, and it said that is either Bill Gates or one of those like billionaires guys. They said that the skill for the like the 21st century or so is that of the generalist, which is pretty
Yes,
much exactly what you just mentioned, the jack of all
yes,
trades. Now, I
yes,
wanna stop talking about the technology and so for a while, and you're a poet. I remember when your first did you call it an anthology um
yeah,
came out. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about what's happening with. Talk to me about Jervis Dabreo, the poet. Now we're moving away from JD, the tech guy and the cybersecurity guy. I want to know about the poet.
yeah. So let me start by saying this because I believe there are some young people who watch the show as well. I hated poetry in school. I
Mm,
hated poetry in school. I thought it was really unfair to ask me as a student to answer questions in terms of what the poet thought and what he wanted to say. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not the poet. But why do I need? And I remember getting questions wrong because how I looked at the piece and how the teacher, looked at it, it was not in sync. So I was told no. And my thing is, I remember actually telling one teacher that, hey, you didn't write it. I did not write it. You interpreted it this way. I
mm.
interpreted it this way, a different way. Who is to say who is right and who is wrong? So, you know, being a poet now, it started from hating poetry, but then
Uh-huh.
love happened and you have to send a love poem and, went looking for one, found one, made some changes to it, realized, oh wow, maybe I should start writing my own. And that's basically where it happened. And in 2000, the first anthology was released, Being Me. It was really a book that was supposed to tell everybody who doubted me, hey, shut up, listen, look, read, this
Mm,
is it. Because at that time, a lot of people thought, nobody would buy poetry from a local person. Who would want to read Jervis's poems?
right.
But, a lot of people did. And then that was followed up in 2001 with another one in times like these that sold pretty well as well. And between 2001 and 2013, a lot of things got written that did not make it into the public space. And then in
Right.
2013, I released two, but those were online. Those were Kindle versions. And I told the Grenadian public, I think you can still go back on my social media and you'd see me saying, don't buy, don't buy, don't buy. If you're a Grenadian, don't buy. It's for the people abroad. You
Abroad,
know,
yeah.
the physical copy is going to be coming out for the locals in 2014. It didn't happen. And a very prominent figure within the financial sector, I remember him several times over the years saying, Jarvis, you promised. Jarvis, you promised. Well, he stopped asking about it. And, 10 years later, in 2023, we're going to make it happen. So
Nice.
I think the title of it is now finalized. The first book was Being Me, so it is going to be Still Being Me, Life Lessons. Taking a little piece from the title of the one from 2013. And it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. So I'm just putting that out there. Um, if you remember when I was teaching you back then, I was never known to be a politically correct person. Um, so that comes out there as well.
Nice.
The book, it addresses just about everything you could think about. I touch on um, sexuality, so same sex, homosexuality, lesbianism, I touch on that. The politics, I touch on it. Religion gets blasted in some cases for its divisive sort of nature in certain cases. So that is in there.
Oh, you went in.
Love happens in there. Um, it addresses the children running away. It addresses domestic violence, sexual violence. It also captures the rough patch I went through health wise. So there is a sort of finality to the book. It almost it would read as though when you close the back cover, Jervis Dabreo ceased to exist. That's it. He's lying in a coffin.
Mm.
He's in the grave. That is it. But again, it embodies the reality that I had to deal with in the last couple of months as far as health and going to sleep not being sure I'd be up the next morning and being so grateful for every day. So there is that. um, and it's I'm really proud of it. It's not going to be as long as the others, so there's some symbolism that is going to be in there. It's not going to go past 44 pieces, so
Okay.
I'm cutting things out and trying to figure out, all right, why this should make it and that should not make it. So it's not going to have more than 44 pieces. There are only going to be 10 pieces that have been published before in there, and there is a reason for that. So there's a lot of stuff, the story behind what is happening. There is not going to be an e version of it, not
Okay.
for a while. If I have my way, there will not be an e version for it, but I think I'm going to get some pressure as a nice person to do that.
Mm.
But there is a feel that I want for it, the paper, how it is supposed to feel, how it is supposed to be presented, the soul, the feel of it, the life of it, the emotions and soul that is in there. I want it to come out, and I am not aware of any technology that can bring that out while it is in a digital format. So
Gotcha.
it is going to be printed. Yeah, so that that is what is
Yeah.
happening. Somebody saw one of the pieces, liked it, set it to music. So a song was actually recorded this week. A music video is being worked on
Oh
as
man,
we
you're going
speak
in.
for one of the songs. I'm told I should probably write music, but as I say, it is part of the me that I think many people do not know, do not hear. They know the IT guy, but not the poet, not the guy who is constantly writing, whose mind is constantly going, and he's not too keen on being politically correct. So, so I'm not sure. When you get your copy, if it is going to rub you the right or wrong way. But I'm saying that it it uh
Uh,
it, it it's it is still being me, and that level of realism. Uh, you know,
mhm.
it's in there. It's there. It's there.
Yeah,
It's
that's.
there. I
I mean,
think
it
the
sounds.
oldest.
It's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
Go
it
ahead.
is right now, I've been trying to get my wife to give the nod on two pieces.
Mm.
Um, I tried a little social engineering thing on her. I'm not sure if it worked. So because the oldest piece that is going to be in there, if she says yes, it's from 1999, when we
Mhm.
started. So it's
Right.
one of the
Right.
love pieces in there.
Okay.
I think I'm falling for you. So it's a fun experience. Yeah, as I say, it's
It
not
sounds
politically
excited. It
correct.
sounds
So
excited.
I'm not doing the let's kneel and pray for addiction. I'm not doing that. I'm addressing the issue. I'm not saying that we should bond people because they seem different. I'm saying they seem different. We seem as well. We need to
Mm.
have tolerance and so forth. It's going to be a fun read.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. It does sound like how we just say sometimes people say you wake up and choose violence today. It's like with that, it's like it just I touch it, just hitting the issues. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's no, that's
And
great. That's great. I
yeah,
mean, I remember my experience with poetry in school. I actually liked poetry. I mean, I had a similar experience in terms of okay, I don't know what the poet or what the author meant when he said that. I can only like have an idea like based on my experience, based on my life experience, and based on what I can try to deduce what he meant, but I don't know what he meant because just like you, I don't know if he was. I wasn't there when he or she wrote it.
yeah,
So, but actually I actually liked poetry. I used to actually write poetry back in the day, but it was just like fun thing, like nothing, just in my spare time, just write like this little rhymes and so but it was interesting because when you say, the teacher asks you, well, what does it mean, and you say what it means, and then they say no, and they give it their interpretation. It reminded me of this guy, a young boy in school, and the teacher asked him to spell a word, and and the teacher the question was, how do you spell it, and he spelled it, and the teacher said, well, that's wrong, and he said, well, it might be, but you asked me how do I spell it.
yeah,
so so that's how I spell it. Like it might be wrong, but that's how I spell it. So you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
tell me I'm wrong, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
but yeah, but I'm actually excited, especially the fact that you have a music attached to one of the PCs and have a music video coming out. Wait, are you in the video? Are you in the music video?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in the video. I am not singing. I did not sing on the track. I
Mm,
simply wrote it. And those guys did a marvelous job with it.
nice.
I actually had to, let them know that I was worried that they would not capture, the emotions in the piece.
Mm,
There is a certain level of darkness in the piece because of where my
mm,
health was, and they captured it. It's
wow.
captured. It's a piece that I think I actually shared online some time ago when it was written. That's the Fountain of Youth, and I've actually asked a few people, if you're from the Fountain of Youth, would you drink from it? That's been set to music. Would I drink? I'm not going to. I wouldn't. Um, but I think I've reconciled that already,
That
for numerous reasons.
that's an
I
interesting question.
Yeah, yeah,
That's an interesting
I'm going to
question.
play it out as is and enjoy the ride. But several people have told me straight out, hey, you know what? If I find it, I'm drinking, I'm bathing, I'm not moving from there until youthfulness is restored. Um, but
I'm actually, you know what? I'll tell you something. On the podcast, sometimes I ask people, like at the end, I normally ask people a question, and it's a random question. Like I might ask something like, "Oh, if you had like $100 and you had to spend it in 1 hour, what will you buy?" Like just these random questions. I actually think I'm going to
yeah,
tip this question and ask them: If you
yeah.
found the fountain of youth, would you drink it?
What would you
Would you
do?
drink?
What would you do?
I.
Yeah,
I think I will start asking my guests that question. Like that's a really
yeah,
interesting question. Wow.
yeah.
But
And
anyways,
I think it.
yeah. So
I
go
think
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I think it actually, it plays into another piece that is in there, and I think just how we live our lives. Do we live, just existing, or do we actually live? So at the end of it, is there going to be a long list of regrets, things we wanted to do, we didn't get to do, and so forth. I know this is dropping bars. I live my life to be remembered. I don't want to
Mm,
be rich. I don't want to be famous, but I do want, because I have touched some life in a good way, a positive way, for people to remember that I was here. And in order to do that, you have to be impactful. You have to help people. You have to be genuine in terms of how you reach out to people, not stretching your hand, for payment every time, and so forth.
mm,
And I think if
right.
you've lived according to your mantra, what you want for you, then when you find yourself, if you find yourself standing before the fountain of youth, I don't think you will drink. I think you're going to smile at it, you're going to wish it well, you're going to turn, and you're going to go play out the rest of your days, on your term, your game, your way.
That's a bar. That's a bar right there. All right. We almost out of time, but I have two more questions for you that I would love to get your thoughts on. Well, one, want to get your thoughts on it, and the next one, just want you to drop some advice for young people who are interested in the space that you're in. So they want to get into whether it's data, cyber security. They want to get into IT. They want to get into the digital field. What kind of advice can you give to people who are interested in that kind of in the digital space? What advice would you give to a young person who wants to get into that space?
Immerse yourself in the area. Immerse yourself in the area. But that is not going to work if there is no passion for it. So uh, don't think about this just for making money. Uh, this can be frustrating. Cybersecurity can be frustrating. Working at the CISA, it can be frustrating. But if you're enjoying it, if you're having fun, then you're not working. You're just having fun doing work. All right. So ensure that there is a passion there, and then immerse yourself in it. You need to read, attend the sessions, the forums, and so. There are lots of courses you can take that are specific to the industry. You know, jump on some of these, get in the know. You have to be part of it, and there is no cybersecurity while you're standing on the sidelines of cyber. So you do not want to interact with the technology. I'm not sure how you're going to help protect and so forth. I understand there are instances in history where that has happened. You had people in top places in cybersecurity and they were not big with the technology. But I think right now, if you really want to be able to break it down and show people what is going on, and so, then you need to have some moral authority. All right, and that is often gathered from you being part of it, you being involved. So get involved. There are lots of information out there. You do not need to start with IT in secondary school to get into cybersecurity. You don't. It is definitely going to help, but a lot of the certifications, a lot of the different programs and so out there, they will get you up to speed. So maybe you did a degree in IT, or maybe you did a degree in something else, you can transition into cybersecurity. You can, because there are other things you can get involved with. There are organizations that you may want to consider being a part of as well. Get Safe Online, they have an ambassador program. It gives you access to a network of people who are about helping keep people safe, and the information that is being shared and so is going to help you as well. Because whether you like it or not, at some levels, yes, you do need a lot of technical skills, but certain things, it's not as complicated. You do need to have some logical, we say common sense. All right, you have to be able to
Right.
follow the steps and so. So that would be my advice to anyone who's thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Do something about it. Uh, just start attending sessions, watch the videos, read stuff, hacker news and so forth. Know what is going on, and you're well on your way to getting there.
Fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. And the last thing I want to touch on is in Grenada right now. There's a lot of discussion happening around the data protection bill that the government would have is working on now I think it was passed in Parliament, and so it's getting ready for another reading, and so so there's a lot of conversation about the data protection bill, whether or not it infringes on people's rights, whether or not it's really about protecting our data. I know there are a lot of discussions about it. Some discussions are very political. Some people have genuine concerns about, you know, whether or not police, or not even just police, like somebody who's
Yeah.
given some kind of authority can just step to you or step to your house or whatever and say, hey, I'm confiscating your devices, and so because we got a tip that, you know, you might have some information on there that you're not supposed to have, whatever the case is. There's a lot of concerns surrounding that. Now, talk to me about that. You as the expert in this space. I mean, the need to protect our data is one that we can't neglect. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I know when I was in university, when I was in my masters in digital media, um, we had the privacy what she was the privacy commissioner of Ontario come in, and they were talking things like privacy by design, and they were saying like for everything that we do, it should be everything should be like privacy first. So if we design a new technology, your privacy should be embedded within it. So it's like, so that's what the whole concept of privacy by design comes in. Now we're seeing the whole issue about the data protection bill, and a lot of discussion and concerns, and you're hearing a lot of different stories surrounding the
Yeah.
data protection bill, and whether or not people can just run up in your home. It's a lot. Talk to me about the data protection bill. Based on, and not necessarily like the legal aspect per se, but I mean just based on your understanding of the bill, and what it does, and whether or not some of the concerns are warranted, and so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, privacy by design suggests that everybody is going to play fair and be ethical, which is what you want. And you want to have policies and so in place to hold people accountable if they don't. All right. When it comes to data protection, again, you expect people to keep safe whatever information they collect on you, to not use the information for anything other than the purpose they collected it for, to not monetize or sell it off without you being aware. Uh, these are things that you want. Now, if we're to create a digital economy, then naturally we're going to be offering more services online. We're going to be pushing more people online into the digital space. Information that is not there yet eventually will get there. There are lots of unbanked people in Grenada. These people will have to get on the digital train at some point in time. They will have to do business in the digital space. And you want to ensure that when that happens, the entities that should keep the data safe, should keep the information safe, that they are doing that. And if they are not doing that, they can be held accountable legally for not doing what they should be doing. So against that backdrop, it's a definite yes for the need for us to have some sort of law to protect data in this country. The issue I have with most of what I've been hearing and that I have spoken up against is when people say that the data protection bill shuts them up. I don't see that. I have read through the document three times now. The amendments that were made in the lower house, I looked at that twice. So before that, I had looked at the original one once. I'm not a legal mind, but I am looking to see how it shuts me up from being able to say what I want to say responsibly, posting what I want to post responsibly. Note, I'm saying responsibly. The people who are fearful of the law are often the people who plan on breaking the law or are breaking the law. All right. So if you're not doing, I have never had the police pull me over and search my vehicle. I've never had any officer run up in my house with a such warrant to search for anything. I'm a good law abiding citizen. Citizen. Uh, some people would not agree because they say I drive over the speed limit. I think we should adjust the speed limit in certain areas, but that is a whole different conversation. All right. So that aside, I don't see how it shuts me up. I can say what I want. I have to be responsible. There is information that I have access to at the CSUT that I should not be disclosing to anybody in the public space, anybody at all. And if I do that, I should be held accountable legally for doing that. As it is right now, no law. So I can say whatever I want and so forth.
Mhm.
That protects the people who give the information so we can do the assessment and so forth. The data protection bill, it does that. You can't walk into the internet provider office and ask for a printout of my activities and so on, get away, they're going to pay some hefty fines for that. So the bill
Correct.
have its place. Now, do I have concern? Yes, I do. Understand it doesn't shut me up. Nowhere in there is it shutting me up. I'll still be able to post what I want, say what I want, because I normally do so responsibly, even though I am not too particular about being politically correct, because I'm nowhere on my official butt paper does it say, party X, Y, or Z. It doesn't say that. I'm a Grenadian. All
Right.
right. So I'm not worried about it shutting me up, but I do have some concerns. You spoke about devices being confiscated, taken away on warrant, what have you. What happens to my devices? How is that taken care of? What happens if you break it? How what happens in a case like that? It doesn't say. I happen to be visiting you, and they put on a raid on your premises. I'm supposed to answer for stuff that you have. I don't. What am I supposed to read your mind now? Does that make sense? So there are some areas there that to me just does not make much sense. Certain people being able to ask for the information, I think we need to revisit that. There must be some guardrails to ensure that if the commission is tasked with having this information, then there must be things in there that hold them accountable, and they should not just be able to pass that information off just like that because somebody higher up asked for it. And so I have some issues with some of those areas. And I believe some of these should be looked at. There should be some changes made to them, but I am standing by. It does not shut me up. And I love talking. So if it did shut me up, I would have an issue with it. And I've been telling people, hey, for those of you who think this bill shuts you up, go back and look at the Interception of Communication Act. Go and look at the FIU Act. Go and take a look at the Electronic Crimes Act.
Right.
Before the amendments were made, and you'd realize, hey, what's going on here? But some changes definitely need to be made. Not shutting anybody up, but as I say, the people who um, either plan on or are breaking the law, going to break the law, want to twist the law, are going to have problems with just about any law when it's passed. Can this be used for witch hunt? Well, a cutlass in the hand of a farmer is a tool, and it helps feed the nation. In the hand of a misguided individual, somebody lose a limb or they lose a life. So just as the Bible can be used to justify just about any wrongdoing if you find the
Mm.
right text and twist it the right way. I think any law, if proper guardrails are not put in place, can be used by whoever wields the power to have it do their bidding and so forth.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, we should understand that the power lies with the people. Uh, we are the ones responsible for the government being in place. If we put them there, we can take them out, and that's not again about color. Uh, so at the end of the day, if things are happening that should not, we the people have the power to speak up and to do something about it. But I have no beef with it as far as shutting me up. But I'm not answering for your. I don't know what you have on those devices. I don't know. I don't care. No. And I'm not going to incriminate myself either. So telling me
Right.
I have to answer a question because you asked it, you'll see how quickly I lose my voice.
And you love to talk.
And I love to talk. So
Right.
if I lose my voice on it, hey, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's my take on it, man.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that because I know there's a lot of discussions surrounding the data protection bill, and so I know that or the need to protect our data, protect our information, like you rightly said, if you have information on me at the CSERT or wherever. I expect that data
Yeah,
is to be protected. If
yeah,
I don't want the bank giving out my information to anybody, stuff
precisely.
like that. So I know that there's a need for that, but I also know that some people have some of the those genuine concerns, um, just like some of those that you mentioned. But in the
Yeah, I
grand
think.
scheme
Listen,
of things,
I think
go
I
ahead.
think more needs to be done across the board in educating our people. And we need to be deliberate about it, not just on this bill, but I remember when the Electronic Crimes Act was passed, I spoke against it because I was like, I don't understand why something like this got passed and nobody said anything. And I remember telling some students, when laws pass and lawyers keep quiet, you should be concerned because they see money. Um, because you're going to run afoul of it. You're going to need representation. Naturally, they make money. That may not be so. I don't want no lawyers coming after me. But I think we need to do a better job at educating our people. And I know, Ruggles has been doing a great job. I love hearing that man when he has this program on GBN where they break down a lot of the laws. And so he's one of the people I actually go to
Right.
for assistance and guidance at the CSUT when certain things pop up. But other lawyers need to come on board. Other people who are able to help and break it down, bring it into the schools, and not just data protection, but just the law in general. Some people do not even know that in the night they're supposed to be driving with the house light in their vehicle on. Some people think it's just about buses. So many laws we have on the books. Don't drive with your
I did
cell
not
phone
know
in
that.
your ear, and we're not enforcing them. And then when things happen and you decide to make a move, people make noise and so forth. I think we just need to want to get our people to a place where they're empowered, and information is one of the ways to do that. The people who can should always help those who are willing, and I think those of us who have little abilities here and there should try as much as possible to help others. Because I think I've said it before. In while I was in the school, I'm not sure if you were on the receiving end of it, but I do believe that selfishness is a character flaw. And I think there's certain things that you definitely want to help people with, and educating them is a good thing. It helps all of us because at the end of the day, my neighbor's rats are my rats, so it would make sense for my neighbors to be informed, so I am protected as well. That's my take on
Abs- Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's a great way to end this episode of Dropping Bars, Bars Nation. We were speaking with Mr. Jervis Dabreo. Mr. Dabreo, thank you for coming on Dropping Bars. Thank you for making the time to be on here and sharing with everyone. And to
it. Yeah.
everyone who is consuming this content, no matter wherever you're consuming it on, whether it's Spotify, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Let us know how you're doing. Let me know how you enjoyed this episode. So thank you, Bars Nation, for tuning into another episode. And Mr. Dabreo, again, thank you for coming on the Dropping Bars podcast. It was really a pleasure
Can
having you
I can
here.
I can I leave the last question?
Okay, hit me with it.
Yeah. So if you found the fountain of youth, what would you do? Would you drink?
uh, you know what? Me answering that question. When it came up earlier, I kept asking myself, will I drink or will I not drink? Will I drink or will I not drink? And
Let them hit it up in the comment
yeah,
section,
and
man.
I and
Let,
I, I
let them
and I
tell us
don't
what
know,
they do.
and I don't know what I'm gonna do as yet. If I'm being honest, I feel like I have to think on this one. But
Yeah,
Bars Nation, let us know if you found the fountain of youth. What will you do?
yeah.
All
Definitely.
right. So
All right, man.
again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Dabreo, for being here, and I will see you next week for another episode of Dropping Bars. See you, everyone. Have a good one.
Yo, a brighter star representing Dropping Bars with Kimran Korean. It's all about life lesson in a youth. Bob Marley do it with him mouth, Sid and do it with him foot. Never doubt yourself. Never lose the focus. Just some more positive content, Fully provision. Good meditation. Dropping bars and I build the motivation. Yo, Kimran Korean. Every ghetto youth, them a pre-elevation. Stop carry feelings, focus on the arts and craft. Get rid of all malice and dirty art, youth. Work hard, believe in your dreams. These are the motivation tips, dog. Success strategies. Energy follow energies. Negative follow negativity. There is a free will to creativity. It's a journey within. Cause we dropping bars, dropping bars, dropping bars. We keep going hard, going hard, going hard. We keep dropping bars, dropping bars, dropping bars. Dropping bars, dropping bars. We keep going hard, going hard, going hard. Dropping bars, dropping bars.